What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Knives of the Round Table. And this time we're going to be reviewing the Something Obscene Company J-Cape. Now, Something Obscene was a company that I had never heard of. And then a couple months ago, maybe 5-6 months ago, I saw a video from Bearded Gear on a version of this knife. And as soon as I saw the blade, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get me one of those. I'm a sucker for the compound grind, especially or uniquely this type of grind where you got the hollow and then you got the, I guess it's a flat grind up here in the tip that makes it really robust. I am a big fan of blades like that. When you go to the mall and you say, oh, that's a really good shirt, and you buy it, and then you go home, put it in your closet, and it looks exactly like 10 other shirts you've got. Okay, that's what happens to me with compound grinds. Okay, I buy this one, and then I go to my collection, and it kind of looks like the Chavez 229, and it kind of looks like the Warrior 2 from Liang Mine. It kind of looks like the 2 Envy. I love me some compound grinds, so don't judge me. I won't judge you. I just think this blade, it's crazy, right? I mean, you got the hollow grind, you got the compound flat, robust tip, you got this wedge with the drop point and a thumb ramp, and there's just a lot happening, and it makes it really, really, really interesting. I believe it's M390, no, 20 CB, CPM 20 CB. Okay, I think they're manufactured by Riyadh. So, and I'm not sure, I think it's a 3¼ inch blade, maybe? Yes, a little over 3¼ So let me give you what that looks like in size comparison, because although I think it's a good size knife, it has some dimensions that are, a little bit bigger than you might think. So that's the full size bug out, and that's the mini bug out. So, obviously bigger than the mini bug out. But with the full size bug out, the blade length a little bit bigger on the J-Cape. Okay, handle also a little bit bigger on the J-Cape. Now it's not. The blade is thick on the J-Cape, but the scales are not. If you can take a look at that, obviously the blade on the J-Cape it's much thicker, but the scales are not that thick. Now, if we compare it to the paramilitaries, so that's a pair 3, and that's the pair 2 right here. So now you can see, that it falls more in the category of the Parrot 2. In terms of sharpened blade length, they're pretty similar. And the handles are also pretty similar. If you go from here to here, on both, they are, remarkably similar in size. So they carry similar. If you look at this, right, the carry of both is remarkably similar. One thing that it does is the scales are, they feel a lot thinner than they look, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. So let me talk about ergonomics. Ergonomically, the way this finger groove works, and the way this second one and the third one, it kind of guides your hand perfectly to a finger here, 2 in the middle, and then a pinky in the back. And then your thumb just falls directly where it should. The ergonomics in the way that this handle is shaped this way are really, really very good, at least in my hand. Now, the only problem when you have a handle that is shaped as opposed to a neutral handle, so the bug out has more of a neutral handle, right? But when you have this, is that a shaped handle, is that it it probably doesn't fit all hands, right? Somebody with a bit of a smaller hand, might want to do this, and the finger will land on that. So in my hand is great. I wear size large gloves. In my hand is great, and I think it would work on a little bit bigger hands. I think maybe in smaller hands you may have a little bit of a problem. You do have a finger choil, but it's kind of a smallish finger choil, because if you see, when I try to put my finger on the choil, I do hit that corner. I almost want to knock it down with my Dremel. So you can do like a half finger or a fingertip choil thing, but I don't feel comfortable with that. I think here's where you want to be for the blade. Now cutting, look, when you have these hollow grinds, they come down to a really really thin edge, and I think this blade, there's two reasons I like them a lot. One is because they look awesome. Okay, all the different bevels and planes of the knife, make it so that it's really really attractive in my opinion. But also I think it's very functional, because you get this really really thin blade that is kind of reinforced, by the fact that you got thicker portions up here and out here, but you get the sliciness of down here, and then you've got a more robust tip that you're unlikely to damage, because you got more material because of this. So I think the cutting performance of this one, it just cuts really well through stuff like cardboard, that kind of thing. It just cuts really nice. I got this knife probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, when they released the second version. By the way, I think they're doing a drop of the mini J cape here. Either they're doing it right now, or they're about to do it, something like that. So if you like this version of the knife, I think that the mini it's a little bit smaller, which I think might be a good size, because in my size large hands, if I you still have like a good ½ inch in the back. So if they make it a ½ inch smaller, it might be a really good size. Yeah, but as Nick Shabazz would say, I digress. So cutting, really really good. Compound grinds, I think, especially with this hollow, they cut excellent. I like more when they do the compound grind with the hollow. Rick Hinderer has one that's the Spanto, and it's a flat grind and a flat grind, and I don't think that's as attractive, and it doesn't perform as well as these hollows. Now the action, I believe these are manufactured by Riyadh, and if you know the action from Riyadh, they are awesome action. They have really really good action. And for this one, it has a really unique sound, which I consider part of the action. I'll get it close to the camera so you can hear it. There's a higher note there when you deploy it, and when you close it, there's a ting, that sounds. Hopefully you can hear it. Let's see. You hear that? Let me do it again. And then this is closing. So there's a sound, that has a little tingling there at the end that I enjoy actually quite a bit. Fit and finish are excellent, as you'd expect from the stuff that Riyadh makes. The blade is perfectly centered. The jimping on this. This is probably one of my favorite jimpings. Where it works, but man, even if you press as hard as you can, it doesn't hurt. It just locks the knife in your hand. The M390, the way the blade is ground, with the lines going this way, and then the tip going that way, going down, and the satin going that way, all of that contrast makes for a really attractive blade, and it is really really well done. You got a back spacer, you got a lanyard hole back here, you do have a lock bar insert, 20 CV, perfectly centered, no blade play anywhere. It's really well made. It's really well made. I have no complaints about the fit and finish. Now, the airing of grievances, the stuff that I don't like about the knife. So there's a couple of things. The first thing is the scale. Okay, I think this knife is a tale of two knives. Okay, I think a lot of attention has been paid to the blade, and granted, that's the most important part of the knife, right? The blade. And you can see, there's a lot of things that happened here that look really good, that perform really well, that are just excellently made. Everything about the blade I love. But then when you look at just the handle, it's almost like an afterthought. Okay, let's put two pieces of titanium. It's just flat titanium. Yes, they have done this shaping here, but the flat titanium back here, it's just a flat titanium. I think, maybe some contouring, or even like a micarta or carbon fiber overlay on top of this to give it some, because right now, to give it some shape, because right now it just feels like a flat piece of titanium. And when they do internal milling, and they've done a lot of internal milling, I don't know if you can tell the internal milling. They've done a lot of it, so much that it feels hollow when you tap on it. And I've said this before, I like my knives to feel more solid than light. And this one, obviously, with the internal milling, they've reduced a lot of the weight. But even when you deploy it, there's a vibration that you get, in the scale when you hold it. Obviously, it's not weak, okay? Nothing that I've done will probably hurt this knife, but it just feels very, very hollow. So it's something that I think they could work on. Maybe a little less milling, maybe some more ribs. It's got a couple of ribs in there, but I think they could do more. Or like I said, I think an overlay would be really good. Just an overlay of micarta, an overlay of carbon fiber, even some G10, with textures or colors or something like that. Because even though I don't feel like this knife is going out of my hand because of these elements of the handle, this is very slick. When you're taking it out of your pocket, that's when I think you could drop it. So the handle, I feel that not the same attention was paid to the handle as it was to the blade. When a knife designer designs a knife, I feel that they have to convey an idea, right? If you take a look at a Medford knife, right? Take a Micro Praetorian, which is one of his smaller knives. The blade is thick, the handle is thick, the clip is robust. Everything about the knife tells you, okay, I'm strong, I'm solid, I'm tough. That's the idea. Whether you like that or not, it's a different story. But that's the idea that he's trying to convey. Now, in this case, I feel it's a bipolar knife, right? On the front, you've got a Dutch Viper, right? It's tough. It's badass. It has a lot of things. It's complex. It's got a lot of things going for it. And then on the back, you've got a flat piece of titanium. That there's nothing here. There's no milling. There's no patterns. There's no anything. Yeah, I feel like it gives me a little bit of whiplash, right? You see this, it's awesome, it's compound, it's hollow, it's got a switch, it's got a thumb ramp, and then you got nothing back here. I think they gotta work on their handle. And then the other thing is, so it's got a really interesting pocket clip, and you can absolutely tell what they're trying to do here. Their logo is this fist punching you in the face with a lightning bolt in the middle finger. Okay, so that's what it's trying to do, and that's what it does, right? And I think it looks cool, the pocket clip, except every one of these ridges going out, and you can almost see it. It catches on your pants, and going down, it catches on this side. Okay, and I hate that. I hate that. It's like like you have serrations going into your in and out of your pocket. I think this has to change. I think this has to be like a just a straight edge pocket clip, and then you can mill the lightning bolt as an inlay, or or a cutoff inside, something that doesn't catch, because every one of this little points of the lightning bolt catches on my clothes, and I don't like that at all. But I think overall I would highly recommend the knife. It's kind of an obscure, smaller company. I'd never heard about it. But I think if you want to get in on the mini J capes, they have some interesting ones. They have, with just great titanium, but Damascus clip. They have they have a version without a flipper and with thumb studs. I prefer flippers to thumb studs, but if you prefer thumb studs, there's a version that has no flipper tab. So go check them out. If you like the mini J cape, just looks exactly like this one, just a smaller version of the knife. Well, guys, if you enjoyed the video, if you think I earned it, then like, subscribe, and until the next one, I will see you again.